evidence shows, every piece of evidence that I can lay my hands on indicates that we are at an absolutely crucial time in this war, and that what we do now will make all the difference in the world.
Good afternoon and welcome to First Financial Biz Beat, presented by the Business Courier. I'm Kyla Woods. Well, in times like these, we lean on our leaders, and two of Ohio's are being praised for their handling of this worldwide pandemic. On the front page centerpiece this week, No Drama Mike and Ohio's Doctor. Governor Mike DeWine and State Health Director Amy Acton are uniting Ohio every day at 2 o'clock. They use facts, data, and poise while delivering their message about fighting the virus. As Lieutenant Governor John Husted put it, it feels like you're getting great advice from your doctor and your mom and dad. But also, they are being empathetic about the destruction the virus is leaving behind.
This would have been the peak of our surge had we not taken the decisive and important actions. I can't tell you enough, this is so important. We have got to even clamp down more. We have got to stay at home, and we can't go the other direction right now.
It's going to be informed, as we have every decision, on how we save lives. Look, we do not want to keep these orders on 1 second longer than we have to. We want to move forward. We want to let everybody live their lives. We want to let this economy start coming back. I am very much aware of how much suffering is going on out there, the people who have lost their jobs. I do not take that lightly, and it weighs on me.
Small businesses are among those suffering the most. Restaurants, which employ 10% of the American workforce, are being decimated. And though they can and are offering carryout, many are just not built for that, which means layoffs. That's why some of the area's most celebrated chefs are pleading with the federal government for help.
We laid off 600, we call them family members. The restaurant industry is part of one big, tight-knit family. And that was what my 72-year-old father said, the saddest day of his career. Our #1 goal is to welcome 100% of our employees back.
And the best way to help right now is to buy gift cards. That gives many small businesses cash now. There's also a new website, a virtual tip jar, that lets you pay a server, bartender, or cooks. And one man sold his rare bottle of bourbon and gave the $1,100 in profit to his favorite restaurant.
I'm in a bourbon club, and I have this prized bottle of bourbon, and I was able to raffle it off. And I sold 100 raffle tickets for $11 a piece. And, you know, my brain does the math real quick, but it didn't believe it.
Restaurants are among the industries getting help in a $2 trillion stimulus bill, and so are many of you. A majority of Americans will get $1,200 and $500 for each child. The bill also expands unemployment insurance 13 weeks and boosts benefits by $600. We want to get back to Dr. Acton with an example of why she's won so many people over. At one of those updates, she brought a message of hope thanks to a letter from a 9-year-old girl.
She said, "I'm happy you see a bright future for us." And I want to tell you, Ruby, not only do I see a bright future for us, I see a bright right now for us. I want you and all of you at home to don your cape, don that cape, keep being a force for good.
And a force for good will continue to be. Stick around with us. We have a special segment of First Financial Biz Beat coming up. Courier publisher Jamie Smith sits down with leaders of some of the area's biggest banks to talk about how they are handling this crisis.
As the media and banks are deemed essential, we want our audience to know that we're being very careful today as we tape this segment. We took everyone's temperature on their way in, and as you can see, we're keeping our social distancing the way we should. We understand that the impact of this global pandemic could be having on our consumers and businesses, and felt it was an important conversation for us to have today. So we've assembled 3 of the local banks, and we're going to talk a little bit about how they're reacting to the pandemic. Archie, let's start first with you. How's First Financial working with customers who have been impacted directly through loss of their paychecks or impact to their business?
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I think first and foremost, we are reaching out to our customers. So let's touch them. Our commercial bankers are touching commercial clients, that'd be virtually touching. Our consumer bankers are making calls. I think they've made maybe 20,000 calls just in the last week to our clients to check in on and let them know that we're here for them. So I think just being that caring voice, that concerning voice to say, hey, we're here to help. We're going to do what we can for you, and to alleviate some of the anxiety that they're feeling right now. Specifically, we have rolled out some loan programs where whether it be a consumer loan or a credit card or a small business loan, commercial loan, we can defer payments for up to 90 days, and customers can access through our website, or they can call into our bankers, and then we will process those deferrals. So as of yesterday, I think we've had about 1,000 deferral requests so far that we're processing through, and we're reallocating workforce in areas to kind of handle the high volumes that are occurring through those areas.
Great. Tim, how about Fifth Third?
I think very similar to what Archie said. The first priority for us is to make sure that we're in contact with our customers to answer any questions that they have and to make sure that they're all right in this time of need. We've also rolled out loan payment deferral programs across our mortgage, personal lending, credit cards, auto loans, and small business and commercial lines. And we are allowing customers to defer their payments for up to 90 days. We're waiving deposit fees where our customers request it because of a surprise loss of income or a health issue. And we have ceased all new foreclosure or auto repossession processes at this point in time for customers who fall behind anyway.
Great. Eric, LCNB.
Similar type programs, both for consumer and commercial customers, both loans, deferral programs. And a lot of our programs that we have today, this is a fluid situation. So just because you ask a question on Monday doesn't mean the same answer will be Thursday or Friday, simply because we're learning more of the needs of our customers. And again, they said it well. It's about us getting to our customers, asking what those needs are to try to fill them.
Great. All right, Tim, we're going to go to the next question. As I said before, banks are considered essential businesses. That means you guys have been remaining open. Talk a little bit of how you're working with your employees to make that happen.
Sure. You know, it's funny. So the government has deemed banks to be essential businesses, but we're hearing the same things from our customers. In fact, I heard from a customer the other day who said there was one thing that this crisis had made very clear to him. It's that the three essential service providers in his life were his grocer, his doctor, and his bank. So we take that responsibility seriously, and we want to make sure that we're open for business to serve our customers when and how they need. But the health of our employees is also an utmost concern for Fifth Third. So we've done three things. First, we implemented the guidelines that the Center for Disease Control shared as it related to social distancing, as it related to step-ups and disinfecting in our facilities, and as it related to remote work for employees who were capable of doing it. Second, we moved our banking centers to simple transactional service through ATMs and the drive-through. And the lobbies are available by appointment only, and that's allowing us to keep the appropriate level of distancing and to continue to serve our customers where they need us. And then the third thing that we did is we wanted to find a way to recognize our frontline employees who are playing such a vital role in helping our customers navigate this uncertain time. So this past weekend, we announced a special bonus payment of up to $1,000 for all frontline branch employees and folks in the contact center, in addition to a paid leave program we have in place so that they don't have to worry about missing a paycheck in the event they have to stay home for health reasons or to care for a family member.
Great move. Eric?
Similar. Our lobbies are closed, but they are open to appointments. We are running most of our transactions through our drive-thrus, similarly. A lot of employees working remotely, which was a little change for us, but we have a number of employees doing that, and that has all gone great, and kudos to our IT department who helped make that happen. But our health and well-being of our employees is extremely important to us. Matter of fact, to take care of our customers, the one thing we tried to do is eliminate their worry. So they didn't have to worry about their jobs. Am I getting a paycheck? Working through hardships like health care and child care right now are big. So we've done a pretty good job so far in managing through that. I think our employees have done an outstanding job and have been really committed. So we have had very few times where we haven't been able to work through a process. And again, our health and our safety of our employees are critical. And the better job we do with them, the better job we're going to be able to do with our customers.
That's great. Archie, anything to add?
Jamie, pretty much the same sort of programs. I would say that we went from about less than 5% of our workforce working remotely to over half in about a 2-week period. So again, for our technology teams to be able to make that happen is pretty incredible. We've added 2 operational centers. We added 2 new centers that we put people into to create more safe distancing and make sure everybody's adhering to, that have to be at work can do that. We closed our lobbies as well, helping our employees know that if they can't be at work related to virus concerns, they're going to be paid. Don't worry about that. And then focus on clients, but be safe in what you do.
Great. So Eric, we're going to turn now a little bit to rates. Rates have never been lower, and we know some customers are worried about their mortgage right now. What's the mortgage market look like?
Well, extremely busy. I think with where rates are, the last several weeks, our mortgage folks have been extremely busy, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. As it comes to, though, people worrying about their mortgage, I would really stress to anybody, we want our customers to be contacting us. Let's talk about some of the programs that we already mentioned and put that worry aside. But call your banker, and whether it's a larger bank, smaller bank, or whatever, your banker wants you to communicate to them. We should be reaching out to you too, but don't wait for us. And again, like I said a few minutes ago, just because we had a program in place on Monday, there'd be a second one by Thursday or Friday. The world's changing quite a bit there. So we'll do our best to take that worry aside.
Perfect. Archie, anything to add to that?
Well, demand is high, as you can imagine, when rates are at this level. So process is probably taking just a little bit longer than typical. We've got great technology, though, that keeps our customers informed of what's happening with their loan while it's in process. We've added additional resources to help that mortgage team, our mortgage staff, continue to process loans as fast as possible. If they've applied for a loan and they've locked in a rate, that rate's going to be honored, even if it takes a little bit longer.
All right. Archie, I know First Financial is the 3rd largest SBA lender in Ohio, and I know there's a national SBA program expected to launch. Can you tell us a little bit about where we are at this point?
A lot more questions about how to implement it, Jamie, than probably answers at this point. As you know, the final approval by Congress of the stimulus bill won't probably happen until tomorrow, but we have teams right now. Our SBA team is working, getting information on the programs, how they work, how to implement them. We're resourcing more people into those areas. Again, we have our own deferral programs already in place for payments, but there are several innovative programs that are going to really help small businesses out immensely with the new stimulus package. So we're going to be ready to roll, and again, we'll add more resources to that group to help our business clients once the programs are ready.
Great. Eric, and I think your answer has kind of been the same on a lot of these, but it's going to change every single day, and as regulation passes, it's going to change even more, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the one thing we have is really daily. We have people learning, being educated, sitting in on calls, webinars, just to learn that whole process so we could obviously be able to use the programs to execute them and take care of customers.
If I could add one thing to that, because I agree. I think that the challenge at the moment is just understanding what government programs are available to folks. One thing we have attempted to do is we have a new product that we rolled out about 3 months ago that we call Fifth Third Fast Capital, which is an expedited loan underwriting process for small loans. And we're of the belief that for many small businesses who just need liquidity for a limited period of time, they may be able to make it through with conventional bank financing. And it's a valuable thing to look into in addition to the SBA programs, because we do all have to wait until those are finalized to be able to implement them.
All right, I want to thank you guys for staying with us so far. We're going to take just a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up. Welcome back. Let's get restarted here. Tim, you guys have all been bankers for a while. How does this situation compare to other major economic events that have occurred? I'm thinking of like the 2008 Great Recession, 9/11, or anything else.
That's a great question, Jamie, and a really important one, because to begin with, this is a health crisis, not a financial crisis. We all have one common enemy around the world, and it's a virus. But the banking system is very strong today, much stronger than it ever has been before, and has ample capital and liquidity to help customers to weather this particular event. I think at Fifth Third, we're very focused on making sure that we're there for our customers. I remind our employees quite regularly that the bank has been around since 1858, and in those 160 years, we have seen Cincinnati through the Spanish flu, 2 world wars, more than a dozen recessions, and countless numbers of weather-related events or otherwise. So we were there for the community then, we were there for our customers then, we intend to be there for them now, whenever, wherever they need us.
Great. Eric?
Tim said it very well. A couple of things just to add. The 2 situations that you talk about, we have a good core group of people who were at the bank during that whole time. So it's, another event, and obviously this one's a health issue, but it's not a financial crisis. I think probably the biggest thing is dealing with people when they go through situations like this. You always wonder about what their coping mechanisms, and I think one of the big changes to this one is a lot of their coping mechanisms they can't do. So they had to go to plan B, plan C, plan Q for those coping mechanisms. So it's dealing with our employees that way, dealing with our customers that way, but we're very confident that we'll be able to help our customers as best we can.
Archie?
I would just say the economy is healthier, banking system is the strongest it's ever been. And we learned a lot through the 08-09 financial crisis that I think's informed us of how to handle this with clients and really for our overall economy in terms of how the federal government, how the Federal Reserve is stepping in to assist immediately with big programs as well.
Great. We've talked about the employees and how they're adapting. How are your customers adapting to the situation? And we'll go with you, Eric.
Actually, they're doing great. I would tell you I'm pleasantly optimistic and surprised at how well everybody is handling it. They have been forced to do things maybe what they would consider non-traditional for them, but we have gotten little to no complaints, little to no non-cooperative type moments. People are very understanding. I think when we closed our lobbies, people were almost expecting us to be doing that. So I'm not only very proud of our employees and how they handle it, quite honestly, our customers as well. They've been absolutely wonderful. They've been very patient. And now we need to make sure we go take care of them.
Great. Archie?
Yeah, I think our clients are actually very calm through this. We monitor all sorts of customer activity, and it's very calm. And what I really appreciate is just the amount of work that we're doing to service them in different areas. Our call centers, for example, elevated a little bit in terms of overall activity, but not tremendously so. Customers are staying home. They're staying in places our governors have asked, and that's keeping lobby traffic kind of down. And we've given them more access to things like ATMs, raised our cash limits, raised limits for the remote deposit capture deposit avenues. So for all those things, it's actually going quite well.
Great. Tim?
I think like the rest of the industry, Fifth Third's invested really heavily in digital technologies over the course of the past several years, and our mobile app or our website are now really the most convenient way to do a lot of things that you need to do on a day-in, day-out basis. So we're seeing customers make use of those channels, but they're also reaching out and they're talking to their banker because they want to understand the programs that are available to them and how to weather it. I think people are battening down, as Archie said. I think they are taking the governor's mandate here in Ohio very seriously in terms of staying in place. I think there are a lot of them that are doing more homeschooling than they had anticipated that they would be doing at any point in time in their life, and I imagine there are a lot more hours of Netflix being watched. But they're weathering the storm well.
Great. All good answers. The thing I love about Cincinnati is the leadership. We have 3 great leaders here today who are leading their organizations, but they also lead a lot of things in our community. Archie, I know you led the United Way community-wide campaign last year, and I know this is no different. What do you think you guys can do, and what do we need to do to help get everybody back to normal?
Yeah, Jimmy, I think first, as bankers, we need to do the parts that we've been talking about, which is really being there for our clients and helping them during this time of anxiety and uncertainty. So that's first. But I think second, I know our company, and I'm sure many others here and around the city, are stepping in and doing things in the community. First Financial last week announced $1 million commitment to fight COVID or provide funds for COVID relief in all of our communities. So we're dispersing that money kind of along the lines of where our employees work throughout our footprint, and putting that to use in the organizations that are really have a specific effort going on in the community. So that's probably the single biggest thing that we've rolled out so far.
Great. Tim, how about at Fifth Third?
Very similarly, I think we appreciate that our employees are family members first and members of a community second, and employees of Fifth Third third. So I think the focus for us has been by taking care of our employees, make sure we're taking care of our customers, and then like First Financial, we announced an $8.75 million philanthropic fund that will be available to fight COVID recovery, as well as relief and resiliency. And we'll be working with our community partners to make sure that those funds are allocated in the most expeditious ways across the footprint.
Great. And Eric at LCNB?
Just to add to that, you know, a lot of our employees work at those nonprofits, work for those civic organizations that help the communities and supporting them through that. So where you have a work commitment in everything that you're doing, you also kind of have an emotional commitment where you're volunteering, and we have a lot of those needs. And similarly, we have a lot of communities coming to us asking us, hey, can you help? Can you do things a little bit differently? Can you add a little bit more to what you normally do? Or even maybe just push it up, you know, when we can get our funds. So it's our dollars that we're looking to figure out how best to spend, and it's also our feet on the ground when we can do that as well. So we look forward to working with our communities, and there's a need out there.
Great. Well, I want to thank the three of you for being here today. Any closing comments that you might have that we didn't touch on? Tim?
I think from my perspective, for those of you who are watching at home, it's critically important if you have a need that you reach out to your bank, whether that's Fifth Third or LCNB or First Financial or some other institution. Make sure that you make use of the programs that are available to you, because the government is stepping in here to make sure that there is aid available to you if you need it. The banks are willing to work with you on payment for, deferrals and forbearance and fee waivers and otherwise. Make sure that you make use of that support, because we care and we will get through this together.
Eric?
Tim, you said that well. I guess the only thing I would add too is a lot of our customers have a lot of great ideas. Don't be shy about communicating those to us too. It's a partnership, so anytime we can collaborate, I think that's great.
And Archie, back to you.
Again, we're here to help. I think we've got committed associates in all of our banks that are working really hard to make sure we alleviate uncertainty and anxiety for our clients.
Great. All right, I want to thank everyone for viewing today, but I specifically want to thank First Financial Bank for allowing us to have this platform today to welcome in LCNB and Fifth Third Bank. We had several other banks in town that wanted to be a part of this, but as you can imagine, everyone's trying to keep business as close to normal as we can. But we do want to thank you for viewing, and as our banker said, please stay in touch with these guys. They're here to help. Thanks for viewing today.
Thank you so much, Jamie, and thank you for joining us for First Financial BizBeat. I'm Kyla Woods, wishing you a great weekend.